You're listening to the Our Erie podcast with DaVona Pacley,
Marty Nwachukwu,
and Lydia Laythe.
We're here to highlight community voices and bring new perspectives to the table.
We are unpacking Erie's and America's baggage.
We're speaking truth to power.
Take a seat.
Let's get this party started.
Lydia, I think you should definitely spearhead this if you're up to
Oh my gosh. I'm like speechless right now. Words cannot describe how excited I am for this lovers episode that we're about to embark on. So, listeners, buckle up for the most cringeworthy, puke-inducing, love-filled conversations you will ever experience.
I can't.
So, to start us off, I feel like we should have our partners introduce themselves. Just your name, who your lovely partner is, why you worship them. I'm just kidding. And maybe like what you do or what you're working towards or something like that. So we just get a little glimpse into who everyone is. So to start us off, Buster, I'm throwing you under the bus. Go for it.
Well, first of all, I already want to throw up. I'm Buster Johnston. My partner is the lovely Lydia Laythe, and I am working towards getting my teacher's certification to teach middle school sciences. So hopefully I'll have that wrapped up next December.
That's good. Yes.
Me?
Yeah, I think you should go next.
All right. I'm Angelica Spraggins, but everybody calls me Angel because I hate that name. My wife is DaVona Pacley, queen of this castle, and she's wonderful and all those things. Was that good, Lydia? Okay.
Yeah. We might have to redo another take where you amp it up a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I'm
gonna allow it.
I do a lot of stuff. I'm a vocational rehab counselor. I am a therapist. I am a youth advocate through Compton's Table. And my main job is just be her wife and support her in doing lit shit. So that's what I do.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
I'm Brett Phillips. I am the partner of the wonderful Marty Nwachukwu here. I work in printing locally, born and raised in Erie, and just inspired every day by Marty here.
Yeah. Yes. I love it. It's gross. It's lovely.
Right.
I love all this love. It's so wonderful. I just have to say, okay, so I had an experience a couple weeks ago where I was signing. So local elected or people running for office were like getting their petition signed. And I had a guy come up to me and say, hey, Lydia, would you sign my petition? He's a local Democrat guy. I'm sort of familiar with him, but not super. But I was like, yeah, I'll sign your petition to get on the ballot. And he's like, oh, you know my wife, Julie so-and-so. And I did know. And I was like, immediately I had more respect for him because I was like, your wife's kick ass. And so I just wanted to say that for all the partners here today, but especially the partners to DaVona and Marty, like you all are cooler for having for being with these women. And I hope that that's an experience that you all have because these women are so awesome and so kick ass. So, but it just was something it kept as I was getting so stoked for this conversation tonight. I was like, how cool to be associated with really powerful, strong women or just people, right? Like, I just love meeting people's partners because it's such an intimate view to like who they are and who they connect themselves with and the people that they choose to like bring into their most like inner circles. And I feel like you can tell a lot about a person by who they associate with, like they say, like, who you surround yourself is like indicative of who you are. And I've already, I know I've had limited interactions with everyone here, but like, I've been so impressed with who you all are. And it's cool. I'm so excited about this conversation.
I know, I'm excited too. And honestly, the feeling is mutual, with you and Buster. I was very, like when I first met, I met y'all separately. You know what I'm saying? So when I met y'all then together, I was like, oh, they mesh well, they mix well. And so it's interesting that we all found our twin flames at this point. I feel like everybody balances each other out. And the feeling is mutual, Brett, because Y'all already know. We love Brett. Like, y'all already know. So no, like I'm excited that we're able to sit here and have this conversation. And who knows where it's gonna go. But like this is this is really cool. So I am excited. I'm excited.
Something we said that all of our partners have in common is how chill they are.
Yes. Oh, Lord. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. I think you can just already tell the fact that like they're all kind of just sitting back and like letting us talk. Like, but I think that that's a really powerful, like a good like compliment to people, right? That like when it's your space to speak and when it's your time to just like let your partner shine and let them like take the stage. And I think that is really cool. And I don't know if these relationships would work out if it was any other way. Like if you were competing for talking space,
Shoot, I don't even know if we would work out if I was younger, because we went through a lot. I went personally through a lot of stuff to even get to this point here. Like we went through, a lot, and still, there's a lot that we, I think within any relationship, when you are willing to work towards a healthy relationship, it takes work, right? Which is interesting. We were talking about talking with another friend about this similar thing. She's like, I love you guys. And it's just like, it's so funny when people say they love us, because like, you don't even understand half the shit that we went through, that we put each other through. And then also like, it's just so, it's like, it's nice and it's an honor, but I also want people to understand, like, it took work to get to the point that where we're at, and that's being real honest for now. Like,
no, I think that's so powerful though, DaVona, especially in an age of social media where everyone has really cutesy couple photos and everything's really clean and polished, and you're like the perfect couple or the perfect family or the perfect whatever. And that's just, that period is never the reality, right? Like that's never the reality of like this perfection, whether it took a lot to get here to this stability that we have, or it's not stable and this is a facade that we've put up. But whichever, it's never easy, it's never perfect. But I feel like how you approach that is really powerful. So
actually.
I want to hear from our partners. How did you meet your partner?
Oh.
I want to hear their sides of the story. Yeah.
I'll go, guys.
You're gonna go?
Yeah, do it. Take one for the team.
Hey, you're doing so good.
So I met DaVona at Edinburgh. We actually met in college, and at the time, I think I was dating somebody. She definitely was dating somebody. But during my college days, I was not a gentle person. So I'm not gonna say gentle man. I was a douchebag a little bit. So I remember being at like either a football game or the cafeteria. It was the cafeteria.
It was the cafeteria. I definitely remember that. It was at Rose Hall.
And
I don't know if everybody remembers.
Like she has style.
Edinburgh.
Like if you see DaVona out and she got her dress up and her makeup, and I don't know if it's because I come from all these powerful Black women, but when I see a powerful Black woman, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, yes. And so when I saw her, it like, I really wanted her. Like I really wanted her. So I'm like, I knew her boyfriend. And at the time I was like, when you're done with your boyfriend, come talk to me. And then I just walked away, right? Boom, that's it. She ignored the hell out of me.
Girl, ain't nobody was looking at her.
Yeah. How dare she come up to you?
Yes. Like,
right?
I run this. So I'm just like, no, I don't. I really don't. Like,
so that was probably junior year. It took until my third year in my master's program, which is like 4 or 5 years later. And I saw her coming out of the library. And at that time, I was just more confident in myself. So I was less of a douchebag. And she was the one that was all sweaty, like, oh my God. Like
I was like, what the hell is
hang
going
out?
on?
And I'm like, I will hang out with you. Like, what's up? But prior to that, the summer before that, I actually had inboxed her because I'm still trying, right? I'm like, you want to hang out? No response. To this day, she says she has no idea where that message went.
Don't remember that message. I swear to God, I don't.
So at that point, I thought she was either a homophobe or because I didn't know anything about her, or that she just wasn't interested. So I stopped. And then the next time was outside of the UC, actually, my library. And that was when she was all sweaty and stuff.
Very serendipitous, which was really interesting. But then I found myself being in the space of like, whoa, this person's energy, like, obviously I haven't like known her and I've like, we've crossed paths, there was something at that point really different. I don't know what it was just really different. It was the light that I saw that she had. And then she then would say that she saw light in me. And so we just basically connected. And then after that, we didn't even talk. Like after that, we just kind of saw each other outside. Because at the time, I think it was my last year of school and she was in her master's. And then we were out in Erie.
Mhm.
And yeah,
we had a dance to Future and Rihanna. The song. It was at Sugar Ray's. If anybody ever has been to Sugar Ray's in Erie, Pennsylvania, it was a basement, basically.
It was.
But after that dance, we were just us.
Angel was a little tipsy, and I said, "Listen, you need to take my number down. I'll take your number down, and I'll make sure you get home." You know what I'm saying? And because she was with a friend, and then like we were just texting and had just been texting since then. And then I went on like a trip and stuff like that, and then we just connected ever since. It's really wild. Yeah.
That's pretty much.
That's
High
really
school.
wild.
I mean, so you could say kind of college sweethearts, but not really at all. But
college anti-sweethearts.
yes, exactly. Like I strongly disliked you at this point in your life, but now you're cool. Love you.
I did not strongly dislike you though. I just was like, okay,
I was an arrogant son of a bitch.
Yes, she was definitely. Yeah,
but that was it.
It's okay. But so was I though. I was very in my own way, I was very arrogant. So there was like this mirror that I saw that I was like, ill, no. And I must have been seeing some pieces of myself that I was like, no, so we can go deeper into that. But it's interesting to see people and see the things in yourself that you are like, oh.
For the record, I always like to tell her, though, I told you so in college and you didn't listen to me. And so for our marriage, like, I'm normally not wrong. I wasn't wrong, just so you know. And you wasted all the time in between.
Angel and honestly, like when she does not know something, she will say, I don't know. But if she knows something that's adamant, the girl, like, I was blown away by how she knows like so much. And I'm like, how the like did you know that? Like it's like really odd. So it's like her intellect was like that was the thing for me, the intellect, the knowledge, the pride about herself. And I was just like, that is like so intriguing, and it really just like made me like, I was like, yeah, she is the one. Like definitely. I love intellectual people, so clearly. But yeah. I'm really interested to know y'all's stories. I'm like so interested to know how y'all met. So whoever wants to go first.
Well,
it looks like you're winding up. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I see Brett winding up. Definitely.
I think we owe some thanks to Paige.
Shout out to Paige.
Shout out to Paige.
I think the first time I saw Marty, we were both. Paige was running some kind of little event, little thing going on for Planned Parenthood stuff. And, I was friends with her boyfriend at the time and we were very close and we had both gone. And I remember seeing her there thinking
I don't remember this.
And she doesn't remember it, but I remember seeing her there and thinking like,
Marty's
damn, she's cute, like, okay, she's saying hi to Paige and talking and one of those regular things, like you're talking to everybody around and BS and it went well, but that was the first time I think I saw her.
Did we talk? Did we actually talk?
It was a brief introduction.
Okay.
Just like we were both by her and hanging out. And I think maybe it's some 8th grade events.
Mm-mm.
What was it? What am I missing?
I like that Marty's like testing and she's like,
she knows she's
So she and her boyfriend at the time went to the hot dog place out by the casino.
Oh, Lucky Louie's.
Yeah. And this is when I remember first meeting you and I thought you were cute. Do you remember that?
That was it. Oh, certainly. So we hung out. And we're both a little shy sometimes on the first introduction. We both had our feelings, I think, a little behind the scenes. And it went well though. We were very casual and it was nice. And I think we just kind of hung out a few times and the foursome that we had going on there of hanging out a couple times kind of broke off. And it had turned into, okay, well, I guess so much for that. Like, damn, like there's not going to be that connection like it was before. Oh no. And then there's a reach out where she had asked Paige to see if I wanted her to have my number. I said, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Of course.
I'm never this bold. It had been more than a year, and I was like, Paige, do you know I used to think Brett was cute? She was like, oh, do you want to ask for his number? I was like, I guess. I don't know what I would do with it.
I said, absolutely.
I don't know
What do you do with a phone number?
Right? I didn't hear from her. I didn't hear from her after getting asked for the number, and I was like, well, what, do I start asking for the number? You know what I mean? Like, what, am I going to be the one asked to reach out? Okay, no problem. But a little bit of time went by, and we actually happened to run into each other at Laythe's. And I believe you were there that night too, Lydia.
Yes.
We ran into each other.
Yeah.
And you guys, I think, had just come from...
We were in the leadership society class.
Is that what it was? Okay,
Yeah.
so you guys had just gotten out of class, and a bunch of you had gone to hang out. And immediately when we saw each other, you know, called you guys over to the table, and we're hanging out. And, you know, I know Cole, and it kind of hit from there, you know. We exchanged, and I had to leave before you guys did. And I was like, hey, you still have my number, right? Like, you better use my number, you know? Like, what the hell? And from there, I think we had started keeping in touch and talking a lot. And I think the first time we really like were getting together close was a blues and jazz fest weekend. That was where we really spent a lot of time. And that was, you know, the last one before COVID and everything. And they cut it off, you know. But from there, I mean, you know, it became nothing. It was everyday talking and contact, and just moves on from there, you know.
Yeah. Fun fact that you may not know. So that night that we all met up at Lavery's was I think it was the first presidential debate for the Democratic Party. So Lydia, the rest of us, I think DaVona and everyone went to Bourbon Barrel.
Yeah, to watch the debate.
So then I told Paige what I had ran into Brett, and you were there. I was like, I don't know what to text. So you and Paige actually took my phone. Like, I don't know what to do. They were the ones who crafted
I remember that. So
I don't think I told them that. No. Actually, Lydia and Paige texted you. It wasn't me.
Oh, full disclosure.
Right? Thank you, Lydia. It was nice talking to you.
No, I remember because we had been talking about it. I'm not sure if it was before that or like shortly after that, but Marty and I had a few conversations of like, okay, what if you're interested? Like, how do you like see that you guys are on the same page? Like all those kind of like when the relationship or the connection is new and you're not certain about it. And so you're like, okay, but if I like try to take it the next step, or if I ask a question, like that's going to be weird if he's not there too. And like, oh yeah. So I remember us like discussing the pros, like very much the like intellectuals of us were like, okay, well, let's figure it out. Like, let's like, I love this out and figure out like, okay, well, if he says this,
through it all.
Yeah. So I remember that.
You literally community organized like your relationship.
You gathered some feedback.
Yes,
said, okay, how do we approach this? Who are the stakeholders? Yeah, you did.
I love that.
That's news to me. That's hilarious.
I count Blues and Jazz Festival as our anniversary. So like the first weekend of August is like our anniversary. Because I was very shy. So before I had like gone on dates, dated on like Tinder and stuff, but I've never like really been really forward and bold about following up with someone. And you were like pushing my boundaries. The big boundary was that he held my hand.
That's awesome though.
I was a very guarded, and I'm still very guarded, but like a very guarded person. So yeah, I've grown a lot being in relationships.
Yeah.
That was after it was a jazz fest. I think we were having a great time, and the music was hitting us right, you know, and getting along all weekend.
Okay. Gross. Wait, okay. Side note though, Brett, do you ever watch SNL with like Kyle Mooney? Do you know Kyle Mooney?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, you're giving me some serious Kyle Mooney vibe. Everyone look up Kyle Mooney right now. Pause the podcast. Go look up Kyle Mooney.
I want to.
And like the way, Brett, that you were doing like this little like head bob shoulder thing was like, oh, I was just seeing Kyle.
Oh, Kyle Mooney. Yes.
So funny.
It's
Anyway.
so funny. I love his skits.
Me too.
Yeah, so good. All right,
Sure.
Buster, go for it and tell them.
You want me to tell the good version? There's only one version and it was great. So I was working at the Crossroads Diner here in Edinburgh. I was still in my undergrad, and I was just finishing up a shift. And like normally I would, because I was still living in Girard at the time, and I commuted, so I would normally just go home after the shift, but this time I decided to have a drink after work and hang out for a bit. And Lydia came in with one of my coworkers who I was good friends with too. And so
her name's Ariel. Shout out to Ariel Phillips. She's the best.
That's a nice name. I love that, Ariel
Phillips. And so for whatever reason, I was on like some healthy stint. I ordered a whiskey and water because I wanted to like cut down on pop, and it was
good, but also whiskey and water.
No, it was ridiculous, and it was one of the worst decisions ever. But Lydia and Ariel came in and immediately just started giving me shit about it, and so that was just like a kind of a funny way to break the ice, to just talk about my shitty drink. But we just all sat together at a table and we were just hanging out for a few hours, and we ended up hanging out for like the rest of the night. Pretty much. We went to the other bar and then
well, okay, wait. You skipped the part that is like
I was getting to that. I wasn't gonna leave that out.
Okay, you better.
So okay, So while we were hanging out, there was a guy at the bar eating like chips and dip. So Lydia was like, I dare you to go get a chip from that guy and see if you could dip it in the cheese and everything.
Like ask him if you can have one of his chips because you're so hungry.
Yeah, so I normally like, I'm pretty shy. I was like still getting out of my shell at that point, being a server and everything, but I don't know, maybe it was the whiskey and water that was in me. I was like, all right, screw it. I'll go ask this stranger for a chip. And the guy was super cool about it, thankfully. So he was just like, yeah, for sure, man.
So I took a picture of Buster that night of him holding the chip. And I said, like, this is the man of my dreams. He just got a chip from a stranger because I dared him to.
Wow.
Yep.
Influence.
Yes.
I can control him with my mind.
That's when she knew.
And that's
my God.
No, I'm totally but just like the playfulness of it, I think is so like people that can just go with the flow and they don't take themselves too seriously. Like so many, especially like I don't want to overgeneralize because this is on all sides, but like in my experience, there were a lot of men that I would interact with that took themselves way too seriously. And they're like, oh, I'm a big, tough guy and I'm serious and whatever. And I'm like, so that I would just like, yeah, let's just see, like, are you gonna, like, I dare you to go take a chip. And Buster was like, he played along. And so I think the humor of that and not taking himself too seriously was like really indicative to me of like, this is a good guy. Like, he'll go eat a chip from a stranger, which now in COVID times, I'm like, oh, germs. But that was pre-COVID. So forgive me for my laissez-faire attitude towards germs and hygiene.
Yeah, but that's been like one of our biggest things is humor. Like we're always just trying to bust jokes with each other or even pick on each other to make one another laugh. But yeah, we just really we hung out a lot since that night. And
I think our schedules just aligned well during that early time where we were spending like every day together. And so then it was like things just like, it felt like, not that things were moving too quickly, but it was like we were spending so much time that we're like other couples might just be able to hang out like one night a week when they're first getting to know each other, or like just a little bit here. Like it was like Buster and I were like hanging out every day, like hours at a time or full days. Like it was really nice because then we got to see like who the other person was for extended periods of time, not just like, okay, for 1 hour I can be a good human. Like, no, this was like hours at a time.
Yes.
So
yeah, we got our time in like real quick.
Yeah.
And
then I got to meet his son.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
not shortly after, because I had he had to make sure that I was legit. But
Yeah.
obviously I'm legit. So then I got to meet his son, which was awesome too. And that was really cool. And yeah.
So after the first time they met each other, she was gonna come over after work the one day, and I had my son there, and he was just waiting at the window, looking into the driveway, like, when's Lydia coming? Like, when's Lydia gonna be here? So he fell in love with her instantly. So yeah, I don't know. So I figured it's in our DNA to just love the Laythe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
I love how you guys just clicked. Like you're like, yeah, we like each other. That's it. I mean, we U-Haul too, so I judge no one. We quite literally moved in together after like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
There's a lot in between there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did.
But when it's right though, like to your point about the timing of it, right? Like when it's right and you know it's right and like things just click. And so sometimes it's not a matter of like the right person, but it's like the right person and the right time, and everything has to, like, I almost feel that way for like Marty and Brett too, right? Like, yeah, you guys knew of each other and were hanging out, but then like there was this gap, but like maybe it's just because that time, like the timing needed to align right for then everything to fall into place. And I feel like, yeah, when you're with the right people at the right time, it flows so easily. Kind of like this podcast, right? Like when you intersect with people and connect with people at the right time, like things just gel and they click and they move so easily. It's not, I mean, it takes effort and it takes energy and it takes compassion and care, but it's not hard. It's not like, you know, it's not painful, I guess, you know, that there are challenges and there are obstacles. It's not like easy, but I don't know. Some people I see like it's like painful for them to work through their relationships. And I just don't know if that's like, maybe I'm not using the right words, but I just feel like when it's the right person, like the goods outweigh the bads, and like you can, you know, it just feels right.
I feel that.
I can't speak to the relationship. I can speak as a shy person pushing past like this fear of, I don't even know if it's rejection, but like putting myself out there, but knowing like if I don't put myself out there, how is he going to know that I actually like him, you know? And that, like, I had your number for who knows, like 8 months or something. I did nothing with it. If not for like, what was it, serendipity? Right. Who knows what I would have done, you know?
Right. Oh, I love how candid you are though too about that, and how like honest you're like, listen, I had this issue and I'm still working through that. Like that's important to be open and transparent about, you know, the things that you still want to work through. That's dope. That's dope for real.
Yeah, if you all had like one behavior or attribute or quality in your relationship that you would say like makes it the strongest or the best relationship that you've had, or that could possibly like, what do you think is like the most powerful part about your relationship?
I can speak. I already.
Go ahead, you
that.
speak. Yeah,
I am like a huge like loyalty person. But not loyalty like obligation, like not abusive loyalty. But it was really important for me to have someone who wanted to fight to be with one another and to have the same mindset of where we wanted to go in life and be willing to sacrifice things individually sometimes to be a unit. I'm very big on family and family supporting each other genuinely. And so my goal was to create a family. Like we have extended family. I got my mom, I got my dad, I got my brother, but this is our family. So it was very important for me to have someone who had that same view of a relationship to get to that point.
And I really also believe that like Angel and I are feelers, like in the sense of like, we are super empathetic and compassionate, but I will say she was more than I was realizing that I was. I don't even know how to explain that, but I will say that the one thing that I think that's the strength is compassion and empathy and the love. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that when we have that, well, I know we have that, it adds to the loyalty and the communication. It's like all that feeling and that compassion like has been now like able to be spread amongst the things that we need to do within our life, in our household, and just in general. So that's one thing that is definitely a strength I realize, is that we're both like compassionate beings, caring about each other, and just the well-being of not just each other, ourselves, and others around us. Like, we have such a commonality in that space. And it really makes me like grateful to know that I have somebody who cares about safety and security just as much as I do, you know, like, and it's like, whoa, like that, for that to be reciprocated is beautiful, is beautiful. Look at you, you so cute. You're looking at me like talking like it's like she looking at me. But yeah, okay, sorry.
It's like she likes you or something. Gross.
Yeah, I know, like. What about y'all?
Do you know?
What was the question? It's the best.
Yeah, like what makes you really powerful, or like the quality that
Quality.
Yeah, I think transparency. I think like Lydia, from the very beginning, I figured out Lydia cannot lie to save her life. So and like immediately, like it was something that like made me feel a lot more safe to like be vulnerable with her, because I knew that she would either receive it well or like wouldn't dance around her feelings, and she would just, you know, tell me how it is, like tell me how she's feeling. Because even if she tried to, you know, say she was feeling some other way, I'd be like, all right, like I can tell that's not the truth. So just spill it, because if she even tries to like hide her feelings, it just doesn't go well. So and then that's just kind of helped me, because just having like hard conversations when they need to be had, like I never liked to do that. So having someone like Lydia, who's just like so brutally honest, and not brutally, that's not even a good word for it, but like just so honest and transparent, like it just makes it that much easier. So
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I think just kind of to your point, DaVona, like just the reciprocity of so many aspects of our relationship, but it's almost like, and in so many different aspects of my life, I've felt like you don't realize like what is possible until it comes across your life experience. And so you go through life thinking like, oh, this is the best I could do, or this is the way life is, or these are the kind of friends you can have. And then you have a different experience and you're like, oh shit, there are other options out there, or like this is possible, or like my expectations for like what a partner can be in life are not limited to like this experience that I've had. And it's so eye-opening. And so yeah, I think the reciprocity has been huge, like, yeah, whether it's in honesty or in communication or in care and the way we show love, and whether that's, you know, like, you know, speaking positive words or physical touch or, you know, acts of service, like whatever it is, like it feels very equal, and it feels very reciprocal, that I'm not giving more than I'm taking, or vice versa. And I think in moments when it has felt that way, we've talked about it and said like, oh no, like it doesn't have to be 50-50 all the time, because we know that at certain times, like you're going to need more support than others. And like, it's going to ebb and flow. But at the end, if we were to look at our life, like it would even out. And like, there's this understanding of that, I think.
Facts.
And love languages. I want to get back to that, because like I feel like how you like to give love and how you like to receive love, like her and I just match up perfectly in every category there. So like when you love someone the way you want to love someone, and they like to be loved that way, that is just is so sweet.
Okay, don't ever do that again.
I actually love that. He said,
for anyone that couldn't see it because we're on podcast, Buster just kind of like did the Italian like chef kiss to the air. It's just beautiful. Mwah.
Double tap.
No. Yeah. No.
Yes.
Moving on. So Marty and Brett, go ahead.
I love her thoughtfulness. She's very caring. She's always looking out. You know, I think that was something that came through initially. It was very clear. As time's gone on, you know, I mean, we're still fairly new together, I guess, especially compared to the two of you, I think. So we're still, you know, learning a lot about each other. You know, we're still making steps in a relationship. We're looking for a place together soon here, I think. So it's been fun, trying to figure out what each other want out of things, and just exploring that and learning along the way. But she's always thoughtful and caring and looking out, looking out for each other's interests. I think the love language thing, the way you want to be loved and the way that you give love, I think is hitting it right. I think we're very compatible with that. Something I really appreciate.
Yeah, I think my mind went blank just now, but I think I haven't had like the best examples for like healthy relationships. Like I've seen long-standing relationships, but they haven't always been like the most balanced and healthy. So like when we started to be really serious, I was really open about wanting to have really clear communication so that like when there are points of tension, we could talk it out, feeling like it can be safe and open about how we're feeling and being open and honest. And that's something we practice. And I think we're always going to work on it, but I think we have a good foundation for that. And that's really important to me. And also, he sees me the most personally than anyone sees me. And I don't know if people know this about me, but like I can be very anxious and spin and spin and spin. And he is the most patient person. He listens to my diatribes about city government and how people are awful and the world is a terrible place and what are we all going to do? We're all doomed. And listens to me. Like with COVID, I had a really, really hard time in the first initial months, and it's going to be a year now. The first initial months with it, and he was super patient about, I was really scared. Being patient with me and understanding, like for a few months, I didn't see him because I was really scared. Like, and I lived alone, so I was really scared. Like, I don't know how this travels, and I didn't see him for a while, so we like Zoomed for months. I don't know, just the patience and the understanding is really important to me because I haven't had that always.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It reminds me of something I was also thinking about in preparing for this episode, because there's another thing that I really love about Buster, and maybe you all can relate to this to some degree. So as some people might know, like my dad passed away a few years ago. Actually, today is the anniversary of his death. Fun fact. And but when my dad passed, my dad was like such a powerful person, and he always expressed his love to us as kids, and his love always felt so unconditional. Like there was just no wrong you could do, and it really was such a template for me of like, this is the kind of love that you should expect from your family, from your partner, and the love that you should give to your partner and to your kids. Like when you've committed to be with, especially with your kids, but like when you've committed to be in a family with people, like that love needs to be there no matter what. And when my dad died, it was like, I never actively processed it, but like in hindsight, I think I was worried that I wouldn't find that sort of unconditional love ever again. And when I met Buster and when I got to know Buster, it was like finding that like unconditional love is possible with other people. And
you guys should tell me I'd be crying.
and that was just it was really powerful because again, like it's like I didn't even know what I was missing until I found it again, and I was like, oh shit, like I've been going through the last 2 or 3 years, and like not knowing if I would find that sort of like support, and I did, and I'm like so beyond grateful for that. And I think that that's something you can find with people outside romantic. Like I know we've been talking about our romantic partners, but I do think that like unconditional love is something we can give to anyone that we truly like are committed to and respect. And that doesn't have to be within the confines of a romantic relationship, but even within friendships or family or, our chosen families, that like unconditional love is so powerful. And going back to, especially for our children and for our young people who feel like if they aren't a certain way, or if they don't meet a certain expectation, that they won't be deserving of love, is like such a crippling, or I don't want to say that, but like it's such a harmful attitude for little kids to carry with them. And I see that all the time. So yeah.
Like I would have, yes, air hug for real. Oh man, and I want to go deep with that.
Another couple question or question for our partners.
Okay. You have a question?
Yeah.
Think of one.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would say, I know we talked about, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have to get going, but
he has a call with Benji that he's going to hop onto. So
That's completely fine.
Ask him the Our Erie question.
Oh, yes.
What makes Erie yours?
what makes Erie mine? Well,
Erie County.
yeah, I was born and raised in Erie County. I'm from Girard. I've never like lived out of the area. But like, I think growing up, I've been surrounded by the attitude of many people who are like, oh, I can't wait to get out of this town. I can't wait to leave this place behind and never look back. And like, sometimes that can be infectious. I mean, for better or for worse, like when you start to hear all your peers saying that. But like the older I've gotten and the more I've matured, the more I've come to like appreciate what's going on here in Erie. There's so many great people here. There's so many great places to visit. And like it's just the perfect size. We live in Edinburgh, so I feel like we live on the cusp of like not living quite in the boondocks and like way out in the sticks, and not living like right in the city either. It's like we're 30 minutes from the city, we're 30 minutes from being in the middle of the woods. So yeah, I just like that balance.
Yes,
that's what makes Erie mine.
Yes. So, I was so happy to have you on.
We all got to hang out and drink and stuff.
Yeah. For real.
Hydration is key, everyone.
So should we just, because we got to go at 8, but can we continue? We can cut that part out, but I just want to, we can continue? Can we do that for a minute?
Yeah, we can continue.
And say what everybody else is? Well, obviously what everybody else is.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 hours?
Yeah. I really want to have y'all back on for the couples thing, maybe for else, because this was too much fun. But yeah,
I'll do it again.
All right. Well, who's next? You want to go next?
How Erie's mine? Okay, so Erie's mine because of my wife. At the end of the day, it's very important for me to always follow through and be as stand-up of a person as I can. And when I chose to get married, I chose that to be my primary job. And my wife being from here, and the people that we know and the people we've met and their lives and how they've been affected by the things that she is just trying to do, even if she's not successful at it, her attempt at it is like revolutionary to the people here in Erie. So Erie became mine because I saw her impact on this environment that needed it. And I knew I had something to give, and I felt like together we could do some crazy beautiful things here in Erie. And when you put that work into a community, Erie's Black Wall Street, working with young kids, then naturally that space becomes yours. So short answer, Erie is mine because of my wife.
And we're honored to have you here because we needed your light as well. Because so this is a match made in the heavens and all.
Awesome.
What makes Erie yours, Brett?
Yes.
Well, I don't know much else. I love Erie. I mean, I really do. I mean, the same thing he was saying was, Buster was saying that people, act like there's nothing here and it's such a dreary, boring place. But I never felt that way. I mean, there's so many people here that I've met over the years that I love and are so unique and awesome. And I think, there's so much in this town, and I mean, even just getting across town. I mean, that's such a great point. Like, I don't want to be in a bigger city. Like, I dread that shit. I don't like traffic. I like to be able to get somewhere in 20 minutes and be good to go, you know?
Yes.
Always, there's a funny shirt that Marty got me, and I think it says Erie is the third greatest sunset in the world. And it kind of makes me laugh, you know, but it's true. Like this city is beautiful here, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we get the extremes of every season, but I like that. I like to feel, you know what I mean? Like we get our harsh winters, but we get our great summers, you know? I think there's a lot to love here. And I love Erie.
It's crazy to hear you say that, Brett, because I'm not from Erie and Rochester is not too different from Erie. It's more diverse and it's more inclusive, but same basics. But being here, my friends think I'm out of my mind. Why are you in Erie?
Yeah.
Like her family, our family, we're like, we like it here. We have friends, we go out.
Right.
Like,
we built community with
Yeah.
everybody. Like, I don't understand.
I lived in Philadelphia and I effing hated it. My car was hit every week. Going across town was not a thing. Everything's expensive. And it's like, here I can work a job and not kill myself and survive, but then also have the extra time to spend with my wife and to be in the community and all of that stuff. Erie has more to offer than what people think.
It does. And I feel like you're giving me too much credit though, while you're saying you're here. Obviously for me, you say that, but I'm gonna be honest, y'all, like Erie, you know, I'm born and raised here. And there was a point in time where I did want to leave. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to move out of Erie and find, you know, my career, you know, what I thought when I left college. And I will say that when we started dating, she was like, what's there to do in Erie? Like, obviously I had done things in Erie. But when she was like, what's there to do in Erie? Like, tell me a little bit more about the city that you're from. And I'm just like, there's our beach, you know, and there's like this. And I was just, but it was not until we really started like moving here and really just, because we were living in Edinburgh before that. That's where we were actually living before we moved to Erie. I moved back to Erie 6 years ago now. And I will say that when we started to explore more and I started to explore more again as an adult, I was like, you know what? I do love Erie. So I will say like Angel definitely reignited a fire of me loving Erie and really liking the space that I'm in and being where I'm at, you know, being like, appreciate where you're at. And, you know, I will say that you were definitely the catalyst for that for me in the sense of like, you know, obviously I wanted to make Erie grow. And my dad, if you talk to my dad, we used to have conversations about how I'm like, they can do this and this and this in Erie to change it, you know? And so, but then leaving because you're getting frustrated and you go to school and all those things. So I will say like, yeah, it was you that I will say gave me that more of that love your city, love where you're from, you know? And I was like, oh shit, you're right. And ever since then, now I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go anywhere else now. And we've traveled places being together. We've traveled everywhere now. Like, and every time we come back home, we're like, thank God we're fucking home. Like, that was great. Vegas was cool, but like, we're home now, you know? And so like, just a little bit of, because I don't think I've ever shared. Did we ever share our, like, why Erie was ours, y'all?
I think the first episode, kind of.
Oh, well then that's how,
no, it's powerful. I think that's true even outside the city. So like living in the county, I know Buster like talked about the sticks, but I still think like there's so much to offer in some of these more rural communities where like Edinburgh has so much going on, but it's a matter of looking for it. And it's a matter of like seeing opportunities to create it too. Like, I think that's something that we miss out if we say like, oh, this isn't the place for me, I can't wait to get out of here, then you don't invest any time into creating what you want it to be. And so that, I think, also creates this kind of vacuum that we see in Erie where young people and other people are leaving because it doesn't have what they want. But what we could really be doing, and what I think all of us are doing right now, is creating the communities and the opportunities and the entertainment and creativity and spaces that we want to see. And I think that's what makes Erie ours, is that we're taking the time to invest in the community and make it better, brighter, more beautiful.
Yeah,
and the tribe that comes with doing that work, because it doesn't matter whether it was with school or with work, it's about the people that you build relationships with, and who, me being a transplant, y'all are my part of my second family. I always say my Erie fam. Like, you like Angel was saying about DaVona, y'all are what make it home for me. I have people I know I can turn to if I have something I need and who make me feel welcome and loved. And I am so grateful for y'all on this call, but I can't list all the other people who are not on this call who make
Right.
me feel at home here.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
100%. I unconditionally love all of you, for the record.
Yes. I love you, sis, for real. Yes. Well, I think that's it, y'all.
That's a wrap.
That is a wrap.
That was as cringy as you thought it would be, Lydia.
No, I just mean like for the people that hate love and think it's gross, and like, you know, my sister that sends me like throwing up emojis when I send her like photos from Buster's and I engagement photo session, or, you know, like it's that kind of, you know, like the people that like love to hate love, you know, that's like, you don't want to hear, which like totally fine. Like I've been there too, where you're like, okay, can you shut up about how much you guys love each other? Like, and like I do that to myself sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I love you, but gosh, this is disgusting how much I love you. No, this was good. I'm so glad we did this.
You've been listening to the Our Erie podcast.
Community voices unpacking Erie's baggage and speaking truth to power.
You can continue the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Our Erie Series.
Funding provided by United Way of Erie and Ember+Forge.
Music produced by Light Shadow.
We appreciate you for listening to the Our Erie podcast. Until next time, take care of yourself.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Peace.